Okay, welcome back to Empire of the Sun. I've skipped over quite a few of the subsequent cards after our last video because they didn't really have a lot to them. And I'll just try to really describe to you what happened. If you remember the last time we were together, we looked at these combats in Burma. There were all these combats up here and so on and so forth. And what happened was that we went ahead and took Mandalay. That was a successful attack. And then, sure enough, in his next card, he played uh, uh, some card for the points, not for the event, and he moved this Chinese unit up to Lashio um, here. Okay, Lashio was up here, just as I expected, because he wants to block my way to Midkina. Remember, the idea here is to capture Burma. Capture Burma will cause him to drop a political will point. Um, so he did that, and then I passed as uh, as I said I would, and then he played again, and the card he played then was he played his FO card. He played his card out of his FO, and yes, that did turn out to be a get out of SR card, but it was a 1 point. It was essentially also a 1 point ops card, and so he used that to do a quick raid on Amboina here, and he was able to destroy the Japanese air unit that was in here. He was able to do a surprise attack and destroy it. Okay, not much, not too much damage. And then uh, for my last play card, or the black card I played, I went ahead and put this. If you remember, I put this in the offensive queue, the forward offensive queue. And as I said, I would if I didn't think I could capture um, Burma with that card. That card I couldn't have because it would have been would have been, I could have only activated 3 units. I don't think I would have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to hit Lashio and take out Mukina, and plus I have to worry about. So I still have 3 cities to take out. Okay. So what happened was is that ended the turn. He went ahead and put his last card in FO again. So remember he played his previous FO, which was a get out of ISR card, and that took care of that. And then he put another card in FO, and that pretty much took care of all of our cards, and that took us into the end of the turn, uh, end of turn 4, the end of 1942. And the first thing he did was, of course, the national status phase. And as expected, of course, he did lose a point because of Alaska, and then another point because of his failure to make progress of the war. So he had to have captured 3 bases or 3 Japanese occupied areas. He was unable to do that, so that's that. So he was unable to do that. So it went from 4 to 3 to 2. So as we talked about earlier, and then what happened was is that he went ahead and played his turn. The next turn, attrition. Nothing happened with attrition. Then on to the next following turn, he brought in his reinforcements and replacements for January of 1943. It's now 1943, turn 5. Um, he just brought that on, and I'm not going to bore you with it, but he basically put on here and Espirito Santo and here in Cairns. Okay, he did lose. No, not lose. Sorry, but these guys went into the late reinforcements box. These are the fifth turn reinforcements, and the fourth turn reinforcements came aboard. Okay, so all that stuff came out here in the southeast here, southeast New Guinea and northern Australia, and so on and so forth. His carriers, his heavy carriers, are still here in Cairns in Australia, Lexington and the Wasp. Um, okay, so now it's my turn, and my turn to bring in my reinforcements, and so I did. Okay, so here are the reinforcements. There's 3 guys there, um, 2 air units, and a 33rd half army. Okay, and first thing I did was I moved this Japanese air unit to Rangoon. The idea now, the strategy behind this is so why didn't I move it here? I moved it there so that I could put air cover on the units here in Mandalay. Okay, if you remember, um, or maybe maybe it was some. He can, for instance, do a bombing attack with his air units. He could try to bomb my air unit here, and he can do that without me being able to react because there's no Azor over it. Now bringing this thing here will at least put this Mandalay unit, put these armies in Mandalay under some kind of air umbrella, so that at least it's protected. Okay, so I did that, and then I moved. Let's see. I moved the Japanese naval air unit. I moved him to. Let's see where. Oh yeah, he moved to Monado. I think I moved him somewhere else though. Later on, I think I moved him somewhere else. But that was not something I wanted to do in the end. And then I made a mistake here, actually. I moved the 912 unit and put him in, or put him on Marcus. Actually, this is not a good place. It's illegal to put him on Marcus because it's not a port. Okay, and that may be something I didn't really talk about during the rules here. Is that the rule is that when air units or land units, I should say, and naval units come aboard either as replacements or reinforcements, they have to be put into a friendly port that is not in a uncontested enemy ZOI. So I can't put it here, although it's mine. Marcus is a Japanese island because it's behind the Japanese Empire line. So by default, it is a Japanese held island. But unfortunately, it isn't a port. It's just an airbase. I could have put the air unit there, okay, but I didn't. So I'm going to find that mistake later on. Okay, and what I did was here, I started to take some replacements. Now I put in all the reinforcements, then I take replacements. I think I talked about this before, but the way you get replacements, you don't get the air or naval replacements. Japanese, you don't get automatic Japanese air and naval replacements unless it says so right on the turn track here. Turn 3 and turn 4, you get one naval, and then you get any. You don't get any for 5, 6, 7, 8 going forward. So that's really bad. Or if you have a card for it, if it's a card that says get 2 naval replacements or get 2 air replacements or things like that, and that's nice, but we didn't get that. So anyway, so there are no replacements for air and naval in this turn, but we can get ground steps to be replaced. Basically, you take them out of here, Japanese divisions in China. You can only take out 2 at a time. And so I did take out 1 guy, I take out 2 guys. And you can only take 2 replacements at a time. And I think it started off in 9 divisions at the beginning of the turn. And now we're at 7 divisions. And I went ahead and flipped this ED unit. I think I flipped that thing. Oops, that was a little mistake there. So he flips over, and then here in Mandalay, so I have 2 full-strength armies now in Mandalay. And of course, I have these 2 full-strength armies in Rangoon, so I have 4 armies that's itching to fight and take over Burma. Okay. Let's see. And then I thought for a while, and I said, well, I don't really need another land replacement. So I returned it. Then I decided, oh, I do need it. I'll take 1 land replacement. Thought about it for a while. Said, oh wait, I will take that second replacement. So I did take a second replacement. The second replacement actually was I went ahead and went into the dead pile. Okay, I went into the dead pile and pulled out this Japanese unit. Let's see, 30. I pulled out here. I pulled this guy out. This guy. Okay, this is I don't know if you remember this fellow, but he was the unit in Burma. He used to be in Burma, and he was destroyed there. And I'm able to bring him back onto the game as a 1-step half army. Okay, and as replacements, I can either flip. So with replacements, I can either flip half-strength armies to full strength, or I can go back into the dead pile and pull out an army that's been killed. And as long as it isn't yellow dot, I can pull him out and then return him as a 1-step unit. Okay, so I pulled him and I put him in various spots. I put him in Iwo Jima. Again, can't do that because it's not a port. And then I realized my mistake and said, oops, can't put him in there, not a port. Can't put the guy in Marcus, not a port. And so I had to think about where I wanted to put him. And what happened was I put him in Manila. 33rd Army went to Manila. And the 15th Army went to Davao. Okay? And the reason I put him here is to create these reaction stacks again. I want to create a reaction stack so I can react. Remember, when he attacks me, and I'm able to react to it, I am able to use one ASP, amphibious shipping point, to react. So this thing will react, and I have a naval unit with it, so that if he uses naval units to do an invasion, it has to have the reaction force has to have a naval unit as well. So in this particular case, the Ryujo is going to accompany the 15th Half Army to wherever it needs to go. Okay, so I have a couple of reaction stacks. I have a reaction stack. I think I remember telling you guys I have a reaction stack here in Tainan, and I think I have a reaction stack in Truck, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, okay, so I have those. So if let's say he lands in, let's say he decides to make a landing in Caviang or Baka or something like that to grab an air base because he needs that for he needs that to make progress of the war. Assuming I can make a reaction, make this a special reaction tank, so I can actually ferry down this 912 unit to do a defense. Okay, so that's a possibility there. So hopefully, maybe we'll see that during his subsequent turn. Maybe not, but we'll see. Okay, so I kind of thought about moving the Japanese air units around a little bit, and I eventually put him here in Banjarmasin. Okay, I originally had him in Manado, if you remember, and the idea was I wanted to cover Amboina. Amboina is right now not under a Japanese zone of control without it. You know. So that would be a free. Could land a unit there, and I couldn't react to it. So it would just be a free shot. It would be a free. It would be a free location for him. Okay, and he would count one towards his progress of the war. And so, but I thought, well, the thing is that if I put him here, if I put this area here, then this Bali and Banjarmasin and Singkawang and Bangka and all these other locations here in Western Borneo become exposed. They don't have air cover. And so I figured, okay, well, I'll move this here just because here, at least I've got all these things they covered. If you were to go after these bases from here, okay, I'm expecting, I'm expecting some, some of his big air, some of his land units from here. And I think I made a mistake there. I think it's too far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No, he could land at Bali, he could land at Kandari, he could land Kopang from here with the 3 card, and this would be free if I didn't put this thing. If I put this thing here, then okay. Oh no, I didn't count that correctly. Okay, no, I should have. That was a mistake. I should have just left him here. I should have left him here because I didn't. I thought his land units were here, and it is. But anyway, oh well, darn it. Okay. Anyway, so that was a little bit of a mistake. So I left that open, let him take that for free. One thing that also a little worried about as far as progress with war are these. He's got some free shots at Marcus Island and even Iwo Jima, especially from his base here in Iwita. Okay, so he can actually go and capture Marcus, go take Iwo Jima for his free progress of the war. Um, what I could do is if I actually later on move this air unit, say to Marcus or even to Marcus, and let's say move this to Iwo Jima, that actually creates a pretty solid wall of Azoids that he cannot just come in and just grab things and just grab islands without me reacting to them. So we'll see. What's he might decide to do that. He might decide to go ahead and try to grab this Marcus or Iwo Jima using his little Marine brigade here, just for the sake of making progress of the war. Remember, it is crucial for him to make progress with the war because he is extremely low on the political will track here. Okay, so if he doesn't make progress with the war, this will drop. Okay, to 1. Note that him making progress with the war does not mean that his political will goes up. Him making progress with the war only means that his political will not drop. Okay, it doesn't go up. So this is really bad for him because he needs to maintain or be able to make progress of the war. Otherwise, this will drop to +1, then another drop for the conquest of Burma, and we're down to 0. And if it ends that way, if the turn ends that way, going into national status, then he would have lost the game. Okay, so he's not it's not over for the Allies yet. I don't think it's quite over yet for him, but he's in a very dangerous position here because if I pull the Tojo card, there's a card that says Tojo resigns. That's a 2 U.S. political will drop. That will put him to 0. And if he doesn't have the cards like Bataan Death March or the Doodle Raid, you can't raise political will. U.S. political will goes up from the Bataan Death March and the Doodle Raid will go up by 1. That might be what he needs to save the game. But yeah. All right, so that's where we are right now. I went ahead and rolled for submarines. Okay, strategic warfare. He needs to roll the turn number or less. So in this case, he has to roll a 5 or less, and I rolled for him, and he rolled a 7. The subs was a 7, so that didn't work for him. So the subs didn't do anything. I get a full 7 card hand instead of the 6 card hand I had last turn because the subs did hit last turn. Okay, so yeah, so I draw 7 cards, and I just want to show you real quick the cards that I pulled. Let me just pull this out. Let me show you what I got. I have this Kamikaze card again. I have the Central Forest Conquest of Borneo card. Vice Admiral Kondo. I've got 2 submarine attacks, which is very nice. I've got a reaction card, and finally I have another offensive card. Just to show you real quick what these cards are and how I intend to use them. Obviously, the submarine cards will try to go after the carriers if he ever deploys them. This is very nice because hopefully if he deploys his carriers and I can sink both of his carriers, submarine attack, and I can somehow score on both of them, this is pretty good. 0 to 7, lose 1 naval step. And it's 0 to 4, and not so great, 50-50. Then I can, I can hopefully target if he ever moves his carriers and doesn't attack with them. I can target the carriers like the Wasp and pick them off. And if I'm lucky, then I can cause his carriers to be destroyed. And you know what happens when that happens? When the carriers are destroyed, that means he loses a political will. And he can't lose any more political will. He can't afford it. This is a utility 2 card. I've got some really nice offensive cards for use in Burma for my offensives. I like these 2 cards. These 2 cards are very strong. Logistic value of 5, logistic value of 7. You can activate naval units and air units and ground units with this. It's nice. And it works on the South HQ. So this is very strong, very powerful. And then I've got this smaller military card. And this one is also a 3. Activates the South or South Sea. So that's another thing. I can have plus it gives me Japanese barges, which is a nice kind of little thing to have. It's not that big a deal. So it looks like I can use for the points would be maybe the kamikaze attacks will definitely go on the kamikaze, definitely be used with the points. Probably use this thing, this reaction card for the points as well. I'm not really sure. It really depends on whether he deploys his boats, his ships, and I can go after them with the submarines because these submarines give me strategy cards. I can draw them again, and hopefully I'll get some nice cards and be able to sustain my attack in Burma. Okay, so that's where we are. We both have 7 cards on our hand. So the first turn will go to the allies because we have a tied hand. Both of us have 7. No passes this time. So he's got initiative because 1943 forward. If we have tied hands, tied number of hands, then allies go first. Okay, their card plays first. In 1942 is Japanese go first, but in the turn in 1943, turn 5 going forward, it's allies go first if they have more cards than I do, than the Japanese. All right, so let's see what happens. Let's see what the first allied card is, and see what happens, and see if we can't pick off those carriers. We can do submarine attack cards. All right, thank you very much.